get some of
We
that
got to
stuff.
work on it. We'll work on it.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. We are live on YouTube. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey.
This is David from Red Wagon Dioramas. Got my friend Nate. Nate, say hi.
Hi, Nate from Carbonite Creative. Hello, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today on the stream. For those of you guys who are watching after the fact, we will have the recording of this up on my channel and Nate's channel after we're done here. But quick little intro. Everybody watching in the chat, let us know where you're watching from. We always like to see who's where and who's kind of watching today. Oh, what? My phone just went off. That's crazy. My cell phone just started doing a little video. I see a few people in here. There's my buddy Nick from he's watching from Canada. Hey Nick, Darth Wizzy.
Excellent.
Yeah, and Lord of Thane. Yeah, how's it going? So we're gonna talk for about an hour today. We're gonna talk all about going from being a collector to having an online toy store, which is Nate's story. So Nate's gonna tell us a lot about that, and I'm gonna ask him a bunch of questions because I have a lot of curiosity what you're doing. But before we get into that, I thought we'd just kind of give a little background on how Nate and I know each other and how we connected, which is a number of years ago now.
Right.
And that all goes back to Star Wars Black Series.
Yeah.
When I was collecting Black Series really heavy, I started like 2017, 2018. How about you, Nate? When did you get into Black Series?
I got hardcore right in the pandemic, like right when that started. I got my first ones trickling in, and then it was just a crack habit from that point on, you know?
It sure was. And when I discovered eBay and Facebook groups for Black Series and that people were selling, wow, I started buying figures like crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. Same. And I my first figure was I bought it on eBay. I was like, I'm not gonna worry about it because at that point I think it's so stupid. We were paying like I think I was paying $19 for them, right? I think that
Yeah.
was the retail then, right? On like Amazon. That's when you were getting hosed. Yeah. And I got a biker scout and when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, the details. And then I was in.
Yeah. Well, the Biker Scout. That's still one of the best Black Series figures in that line. And
For
yeah,
sure.
it's one of my favorite characters too.
Yeah.
Just context wise, so I grew up. I was born in '78, so I'm almost 48 now. You're similar, right?
Yeah,
Similar.
well, no, 74. So
Oh, are you
I'm not 48 anymore. Yeah, I'm 51, but I mean we're close enough to
few
be,
years
you
on
know.
me? But
Yeah.
the only movie I got to see in the theater as a kid was Jedi. I saw Return of the Jedi, and so that was my movie as a kid. Like I loved it. I don't know
Got
if you got to see any of the others.
got you. Well, I mean mine was my first theater was Empire.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. So but what's interesting, I was a Star Wars fan before that, and it was the next door neighbor kid had gone and seen this movie called Star Wars, and we were just talking about it like two little kids. It kind of had to have been like 5 or 6 or something, and he was just talking about it and da 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 da. And I went to the dentist to get like a filling or something, and I didn't cry like I normally did. And so my mom took me to J.C. Penney's, and my first thing that I ever got was a Darth Vader.
Oh,
Uh, and then so I was obsessed with the movie before I'd even seen the movie, and then when I went to the theater, then it was all downhill from there. And Return of the Jedi for sure was my favorite because that was really when I was at age. I saw
yeah,
Return of the Jedi 17 times in the theater. My parents were like, "You're gonna fucking break us! Like I can't do this anymore." And I just cried, throw fits, you know.
that's a crazy bit. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Hey, here's your
Sorry.
buddy.
So go ahead. Off track. Off track.
Your buddy Poptography's here.
Oh, excellent. Hi. Yeah, so we met during the pandemic, and I think that we were just following each other on Instagram.
Yep.
And I was very new to the situation, and I was like excited to meet other people in like the dio world, because that's really what I got into. So I started collecting the figures, I started creating dios, and then for me it became an obsession about not just creating a dio but taking the photographs and creating the scenes.
Yeah.
So like became an obsession, like especially when the Mandalorian was going out. Like the minute that would happen, like I would run downstairs and like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be like, making the figure. I'd be, we didn't have Ahsoka from there yet, so I'd be like making her clothes for it, and I'd be making the forest for it, and so that's kind of how I got a bit of my following, where people just like, okay, this guy's a crackhead, and doing some stuff. I'm not a professional photographer. I'm not any of those things, but I just had fun doing it. So I was making my own little. So I was like, oh, I guess I can make mountains,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of how we really connected. And then
I
and-
remember the first diorama that you made that really captured my eye, and this will bring it back. It was the Sandcrawler. You had 3PO and R2 in front of the giant treads of the Sandcrawler, and I forget if you just did it on a foam board or whatever,
yeah.
but I remember you used the little shelf brackets for the little
I
tank.
love that you knew that. I was like, see, and I'm like, because I mean, really, there was no, heart of the pandemic, so there was no money to be spent, and it was literally, I was just kit bashing everything, and it was
Yeah,
out of junk or it was whatever, and I think that we had some extra, like, no, actually, in our the house, we had just bought a house right before the pandemic hit, so the lady that owned the house before us had like this box of stuff that she left behind, and it just so happened to have those little like IKEA shelf
yeah,
pegs, and I was like those will be like cool treads, and I still have that, like I still have all those things because I pull them out to shoot with them every once in a while,
yeah.
when I have a chance to do it. But funny that you say that. Yeah, that was one
But
of my faves.
I knew you weren't a 3D printer guy. Like you weren't 3D printing these. You were scratch building. I was like, man, how did he do those little treads? And I was like,
Yeah, I
I just
couldn't.
remember
I
this.
mean,
That's cool.
it's interesting because as I did transition, not transition, but I mean, I started incorporating 3D printed stuff into it, and I caught a little bit of crap in the community. It was like, oh, 3D printing, but I was just like, oh, someone's gonna kind of always just complain about something, you know what I mean? Because you're not fully kit bashing it, and then now you're 3D printing it, now you're using AI and those sorts of things. But worst problems in life to have. But I did start incorporating 3D printed things into it because for me it was like, wait a minute, for me, like I could sculpt a mountain or whatever it is, not even a problem, but a straight line like
Oh,
that, is the hardest thing, because I'm so OCD, and like it not being perfect like makes me literally tremble, like it.
yeah. Mhm.
That's part of my thing, like that's why like in design school, when I went to design school, like I can cut like a ball gown like you can't even imagine. Want me to cut a straight line? I'm out. I can't do it. It's just something, my brain doesn't work that way. Circles, perfect. I can't do it. So that's where the 3D printing really helped me, because I could,
Yeah.
oh, thank God. Okay, it's just a square and it's done.
Well, so let's take the story forward a little bit. So
Mm,
some point, I think around 20, I think it was 2021,
mm,
whatever year the Black Series Rancor project was announced. Maybe that was
yeah.
22, the summer. Um, right about a month or two before Hasbro in his loose
What
lips
happened?
Rancor. I bought a Rancor. I found one on eBay. I bought a Rancor statue, the Gentle Giant statue of
Mhm.
the Rancor with Malakili, and and I still have my collection. It's an awesome piece. And
Yeah.
at the time, I think it was selling for like $600, but I got one for $200, and the guy wasn't willing to ship it though. And it was in the outskirts of New York City. And I was like, who do I know in New York? And
It's
I
so
thought of
funny.
you. And I so for those watching the story is that I kind of basically cold called you up or texted you or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, would you do me a favor? I just bought something kind of nearby. Would you go get it for me? And you did.
But
So yeah,
that was so funny, and really kind of stupid in a way, because um I knew what you bought, and I was like, it was of course not a problem to do it. I was more excited because it was literally, I want to say it was maybe 10 minutes away from my house, and I was like, wait a minute, there's another Star Wars
yeah,
fan here. I was like, I'm just excited to like meet this person. Like, who has this? And I think you had mentioned something like there's other things that they had in their collection or something. So I was like, oh, awesome. And like, so we drove to go pick it up, and it was literally like they set it on like they set it on the front door, like don't ring the bell, like
yeah.
don't get it. You know what I mean? And I was like, but we're friends. So anyway, so that's funny. But then I was working, and you were rad enough. I needed oh God, who did I need? Oh my God, did I just seriously just
You
have
mean the
a
figure that I gave you?
yeah,
that was Cara
Cara
Dune.
Dune. Yeah.
Cara Dune,
I'm
Black
like, I'm
Series.
looking at her like I'm gonna
Yeah.
lose my nerd license. But I needed Cara Dune, and she was like on eBay for 100+ bucks then, and Todd was like, "Yeah, your friend knocked on the door and dropped off a figure," and I was like, "What?" So that was just beyond rad and cool,
I
and
think
I mean,
that was because because I'm in Massachusetts. It's a bit of a
yeah,
drive to get down to New York, but I was down there for work one weekend, and yeah, I think that's what it was. You and I couldn't connect for some reason, whatever our schedules
yeah, I
weren't
think I was
aligning.
working in your schedule,
But
yeah.
I remember I got the Rancor from Todd, I guess, and then and I left him the figure for you, and yeah,
And
that's
you were rad enough to, because remember I said, could I posted the shit out of that thing. I took pictures with
oh
that.
yeah, you had
I
some great
I even
Rancors.
created I created like a whole little diorama that went around it.
Yeah, you had some awesome
So he
shots
could.
of that
Oh yeah, I
Rancor.
did. I shot a Rancor and Felucia. So I made
Yeah,
Felucia with. Yeah, that's right.
I'll have to share that. I should have pulled that up, but anyway. For those of you
For
guys watching,
yeah,
that's the backstory of Nate and I, how we kind of became acquaintances through social media, and
yeah,
then helped each other out with some collecting. And years have gone by, and now we're here. So
yeah.
let's talk a little bit. Now you're into Funko Pops. I want to know a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
how
It's
did
funny.
you
I know.
transition into Funkos for your
Yeah,
own personal collecting? What was it about
yeah.
Funkos that grabbed your attention?
Well, so this is really it's so strange. Because I mean I was a Black Series guy, 1,000,000%, can touch me about it. And I actually was like, people, not people, but I was like, I don't want some cutesy little Star Wars thing. I want a real Star Wars toy. I mean, to me it was like, that stuff's crap.
Yeah.
And I bought one. It was like on sale. Macy's was having this thing where I had like, the $20 Macy's cash from some Christmas sheet I bought or something that was sitting there about to expire. And they had Ahsoka Tano with her lightsabers out from Mandalorian, and she was like $5. I was like, I'll just get it. And at that time, like I started obsessing over the 332nd, and so I was
Okay.
doing these dioramas with like the 332nd, clone helmets, and I was making miniature helmets, and so I had this whole 332nd and 501st situation happening over at my desk. And I was like, well, she'll look really cute there. So I put her there, and I was like, I just need her because she looks cute here. And then I was like, and then I'll do a little Mando, and then I'll do a little dot, 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 dot. And then it just kind of exploded. And, not exploded. Like I'm keeping it under wraps. Like I'm just collecting Ahsoka, like proper, like her
Okay.
pops, and then the series, and I have a little Mando stuff, but and Bad Batch. So I'm trying to stay focused. It's funny because I'm sure that all the Funko Pop people are like, "That's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie," because I'm like, and I have a Luke Skywalker shelf, and I have a Darth Vader shelf. So I did start switching over, and honestly, you know I started getting really kind of pissy at Black Series, to be
Mhm.
truth be told. The prices were going up.
Yep.
And it felt like every time I wanted to sell or flip something, people only wanted to pay $5 for it. But every time I wanted to buy it, somebody wanted $75 for it.
Right.
But and um, you know, I was psycho buying figures from, also not just, I was buying figures from people in Asia to get them here earlier so that I could be one of the first people to shoot them. So when I went to actually kind of let go of some of my collection to make room for my toy store, I was almost in tears because people were like, "Yeah, I'll give you like $200 for the whole thing," and I was like, "But I paid $75 for every single one of these figures. Like I
Right.
know that they're, like, and then not to mention that going to like, some of the people that we are in community with that are like amazing customs
Yep.
makers. So I had some custom shit that was just beyond, and luckily enough, some of those things went to other collectors that knew the value of it. But anyway, to not to get off track, I was really kind of falling out of love with Black Series. You know, it really pissed me off, and when it started, and I was gonna start making videos about these sorts of things for my channel, but I didn't want to, you know, like go off into like being like a negative Nelly about it. But one of the things that really super pissed me off was I was just tired of having to finish everything. You know, everything had to
Yeah.
have like a wash. Everything had to, you know, a droid didn't have any scuffing on it. The Bad Batch, da da da. And the thing that really made me just be like, you know what, I'm not trying to pay $24 for, you know, it was the Ahsoka line. Like
Mm.
honestly, when Balin came out the same as Shin Hati, and I was like, wait, are you fucking kidding? And then like, you know, people like Landspeeder and you know Luke were or you know coming up with ways to fix it, and it was great. And I was just like, you know what, I don't want to like, I still don't own that figure. Like I still
Yeah.
don't. I still haven't bought Balin Skull. I bought Shin Hati, and I want to finish that line. Like that's one of the Ahsoka lines is still something I really sweat and I want to finish it. But I'm intentionally like I got Shin Hati on sale for Christmas. I was like, yep, she's like $14. I'll take her, you know? And so
The one with the cloak.
it was
The one-
literally just that stuff, you know. It was that stuff that was, and the prices are still going up, you know what I mean. We're at 27, and I mean we can have a conversation about it's going to 29. Everybody can say what they want to, but the especially, you know, being in a seller, seeing prices and da 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 da, like, so you know, for me it was like I just they were getting too expensive, and I liked the idea that there were, you know, Funko Pops, I could get them for like 10, $12, like woo, you know. So I
Yeah.
could get like 3 or 4 of those things to get like my Star Wars dopamine fix, you know, if you will. And Yeah, you know, now I mean, but I am what's funny is now we've gone full circle, right? Because I started out at the pandemic right before oh, this is my favorite, this is my funny pandemic collection story. So right before the pandemic, I had a kidney stone, right? And everyone always says kidney stones are the worst thing you could ever have, like giving birth, it's worse than that. And I was like, well, what do you know about that? Like, who knows, right? So I got it, and guess what? It was worse than any of those things. And they you know, I was one of the last surgeries right before the pandemic, before they started shutting everything down, thank gosh, you know. But I was still in a lot of pain towards the end of it, and they had me on like oxys, you know, basically for the pain. And it says right there in the warning, do not make any decisions. Don't do anything. Don't drive cars. So I'm like, of course, I get it. Like, I'm not going to get behind. I'm not a moron. I'm not driving a car. I'm not doing any of those things, right? But so, you know, like, what do you do when you're like kind of high and you're in pain and you're on the couch and the Mandalorian's on? Like, you know, I was sitting there scrolling through my phone, and I was like, you know what would be cool? And again, right before Black Series, so I wasn't sure exactly. I just knew I was going to start collecting again, because if the zombies were going to come from the pandemic, that, you know, at least I was going to die having fun. You know, that was my whole logic about it. I was high, and so I'm like scrolling through it, and I'm like, it would be really awesome to go and collect back into the, you know, the 3.75, the old school Kenner stuff, and I'm going to start with the things that I didn't have that I wanted,
Yep.
which really wasn't a lot. I had everything, but like I couldn't get Princess Leia in the bush thing. They used to have her. My mom looked for her for years, and you know, so I was like, I'll start there, and da da da. And one of the things came up. I was flipping, and I was like, oh my god, like this is like a legit Star Wars carded Jawa, and it was like I, and it was like in fantastic shape, and I was like, and it's $75. Like this person doesn't know what they have, and I'm like, mine. And I'm like, that's the first thing I'm getting. Like, awesome. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna collect. Literally, David, I hit the phone and I hear boom, 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 boom upstairs. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And my husband ran downstairs. Was like, what did you just pay $750 for? And I was like, what are you talking about, man? I bought it for $75. He's like, you're high. Give me your phone, like, you know. And I was like, ah, and I mean, it came. It was fantastic. It was beautiful. And I was like, I have no business owning this right now. This is not what's going to happen. Somebody was kind enough to like buy it back for me. I sold it for the same price I paid for it.
That's
Um,
great.
yeah, so then I was like, maybe I'll just buy like a used Black Series figure for $14 or something, and then that's how that all kind of happened, you know. Stupid.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
um,
Well,
yeah,
let's transition a little bit. Let's start
yeah.
talking about the store, because I'm
Ah,
doing this video because I'm curious, but I do
yeah.
want to promote your store. I want to let
Thank
everybody
you.
know watching.
Yeah.
Nate has done a coupon code. So Red Wagon, right? Red Wagon
Yeah.
gets what?
No spaces, but whatever, we'll pick it up. There's one in there if there is. Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah.
Well, hang on.
So this
So,
is the store. We are Carbonite Creative. .com, and that's what we are on all of our socials. That's me on Instagram, on YouTube, on what have you. And so the transition from going, I mean, I am still a collector first, but what happened was I'm in the process of like a career change, and like my industry is kind of crazy. I work in the New York apparel industry, and there's just back and forth, and it's instability and blah 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 blah. And I just got kind of tired of it, and I thought, well, what could I do? Like, what kind of business could I start up that I could actually kind of run on the side? It could be a side project that I enjoy, and what does that look like? And I thought, well, if I start a toy store, I'm already buying toys, and if I start a toy store, maybe I can get a discount. So maybe that helps me with my plastic crack habit. And then maybe I'll meet more friends and da 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 da. And so I started doing this. And we didn't have a lot of money to put into it. I think that like I had to basically beg. I had to beg for like I think I spent $1,000 on a credit card
yeah,
to buy my first round of stuff.
yeah.
Started out with a couple of Funkos, and then we kind of started incorporating Black Series, and so I just wanted to create a Star Wars only toy store. I wanted to create it for collectors like me that like taking pictures and photography and all that stuff, and I wanted to build like these little sections of just cool stuff. And they could be out there. I don't know of them, but just a Star Wars only toy store. I would love that because I'm constantly scrolling through Amazon.
Yeah.
Like I'm cost comparing. I'm constantly cost comparing things. Um, for my for myself,
Right.
like I know what Shinhati costs right now on Amazon versus eBay versus Timu versus da 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 da. Like that's just what I do. I'm constantly looking for the best deal, and I thought, well, you're doing this now anyway. Why don't you do it? Um,
So when did you start? When did you
Oh,
start?
well, the store officially opened in the beginning of October. And
Oh,
it's like I had an LLC. Carbonite Creative was an LLC. It had been sitting around since the pandemic because as a lot of us creators, we were all going to. This was our chance to change our career,
yeah.
and to be full time. I was going to be a full time diorama maker and just a Star Wars toy maker, and that I was not going to go back to work because I didn't want to deal with those people, and so I'd open up an LLC just to do that, and I kept it and I kind of rolled it over. And so I had an LLC, and I just had to apply for like a New York State tax license to be able to become a full blown wholesaler. And I thought, I've already got half of the work done. Why don't I just do it? And so then I just opened up the Shopify shop. And then I had to get wholesale accounts, and I started with like Entertainment Earth, and then I started
Okay.
I it's a very interesting story because you know and again, I'm not an expert by any means. I'm having to navigate this. I have been in a retail, not retail as in like, I'm working in retail, but I have been a part of the apparel industry that's fed both e-com and retail for the last 25, 30 years. And I've seen some of the biggest companies, and worked with the smallest companies and up and down. So I am definitely conscious about margins, and I understand plans and budgets and forecasting and da 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 da. And I thought, well, why don't I just try to apply it to a toy store?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. And so like I said, I had $1,000 to spend, which really is not a lot. I went Funko first because Funko is cheaper definitely
Okay.
than everything else. And I think in the strategy of the store really was that I was going to just buy. things, right? I was going to spend $1,000. That $1,000 was gonna sell, and then I was going to roll that plus the profit over into the next drop. Roll that plus the profit into the next drop. So it was going to kind of pay for itself, and eventually, in 20 years, I'd be making some cash, and no one could, my husband couldn't bitch about it because I was usually rolling. I was really just rolling over the funds or whatever, and it shouldn't be a problem. But it actually, so there, one of the things I had to learn about the toy industry that is different from apparel, not so much, but it is definitely a little different, is that there just wasn't the inventory available,
Mm,
like that. It was truly it's truly a pre-order market, and that if you can find inventory on the floor that's available now, it's because something canceled, somebody didn't want it, or it's not moving fast, and stuff like that. So if you do find inventory on the floor available to buy, you better know what you're going to do with it, and you better know what the value of it is, or you've got peg warmers, you know what I mean? Like, like it was interesting. That's why I didn't go into Black Series initially. I was going to, but the prices, I was like, these can't really be the prices that they're asking for at wholesale. If I'm buying a case, really, it's that. um and then, like,
we need to come
um
back to that comment. That's a key point I want to talk more about. But
yeah, no, no, for sure. I'm happy to
yeah,
share it. But I think what was it? It was like, but like the Andor test pilot from season 2 was one of the things that was available, and that was the thing that triggered me. I wanted that figure so bad. I didn't want to spend $24 for it. I knew that uh it was already like being comped on eBay. It was marking down on eBay for like
yeah.
16, 17, 19, and I'm like, you guys want 21 for it? Like, what? Wait,
This is the,
wait,
this is the Caspian Andor figure with the red
yeah, yeah,
suit. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it was and then what else was yeah, so there wasn't a lot of stock that was available there, but the prices that they were asking for it, I knew I was not going to be able to get, and I knew that's not what it was going in the secondhand market. So that made me kind of have to re-strategize about how I was going. And so the first thing I was going to do is I reached out to Funko direct. And Funko really doesn't want to deal with like the small people like you and I. They don't
Yeah.
care. They don't need to. They have like their main people that they work with are Entertainment Earth and Alliance Entertainment, right? They don't really need us. And right out of the jump, they were like, "Yes, we can work with you. It's a what was it? 50,000 unit minimum, a 50,000 unit minimum for a year, broken into quarters, which translated to I think about $500,000 or $600,000 of
Sales
product.
of wild product. Wow.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
product, and which I was just like, yep, can't do that. Well, I've got $1,000 to spend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually, so they say right on their website, like, perhaps you might want to go to Entertainment Earth, or perhaps you might want to go to Alliance Entertainment. So Entertainment Earth is located in LA, right? And then Alliance Entertainment is located, well, their headquarters are in LA, but their warehousing and a lot of their distribution centers are in Kentucky, which services and in Florida, which services the East Coast, right? So the first thing that I went out to both of them, and Alliance Entertainment had like $1,000 minimum, and I had already spent my money at Entertainment Earth, because Entertainment Earth only required a $250 basically deposit, and what that meant
Oh,
was that you pay $250, they hold it on a card, they give you that 250 back after you've spent 250 worth of product, and then you take it from there. So great. I'm buying little things here and there. I'm buying like six pieces of Funkos and da da da, cases. And then my first shipment comes and I get destroyed because I don't realize, I'm doing all the exercises I can, but there's no playbooks really about shipping from there. I mean, I do know enough about shipping and logistics and stuff, but like, so I was like, okay, well, I'll research UPS, or I'll research FedEx, and I'll reverse, engineer the shipping from here to there, and da 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 da. And then, not really understanding that also they charge more if it comes into a residential area, and da da da. So next thing I know, like, I'm paying, like, let's just say you're paying $10 for something, and then I get a $50 bill on top of that
Yeah.
for those figures, and then just all the margins out. But I can explain more of that. That makes sense when you ask your next question, because I know you're going to ask it.
Well, where I was going was just what is the margin roughly,
Yeah.
what you can share. What did you expect it to be? So if
Yeah.
let's, I mean, you can talk Funko or
Yeah,
Box
yeah,
Series
no,
or
we
whatever.
can. So,
Um,
so there. I mean, okay. So, well, in the rest of the retail world, generally from a retailer, even if it's a specialty stores make a little bit money. It's generally like a 50% markup.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
like, for example, like in the apparel industry, if you go into like a TJ Maxx or something, let's just use that as an example, and you buy something for 14.99, it is 100%. That buyer paid $7 or under for that.
Yeah.
They are guaranteed X amount of margin, or it doesn't go there unless it's a really big heavy hitter. So I'm like 14.99. That's an easy thing. I'm reversing it back. I'm paying $7 for a Funko. I'm ba 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 ba. And then, even if I landed at, I think I was thinking I was going to land it at about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But I'll make $7 a Funko. All right, that'll be great. Well, that's not what it is. I mean, like, just a baseline price is about 8.90, almost $9 for a Funko. If you start buying by the cases of 36, and you can get down to around 8.25, I think it is. But
Okay.
then your shipping rate goes up, and by the time I was landing them, I was paying 10.
So you wanted to be at 750 and you're paying 10. So your
Yeah,
margin now is whatever
yeah,
that is.
yeah. And I
20,
mean,
30.
so this is, but there, that is the best case scenario. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about TVC, dude. I can't believe, and again, so we are in this transitional period of when prices are going up, and oh, it's tariffs, and yes, there are tariffs, but I do believe that there is still a mismatch in those MSRPs and things that are kind of happening, and I think that is, I think that there's a lot of pushback happening, and I can explain that a little bit more too as we go through. But like let me just hammer out some prices on some
Sure.
other stuff. So, you know, this is interesting as you're going through, and as collectors, you and I are like, man, 24, 27, 29 for Black Series. The only, like, as I've been going through the vlogs and Reddit and all those things, the only thing that I've really seen is, man, those TVC collectors, the vintage collection collectors, were like, I get like the feel of it. I mean, I'm sure there's people that are pissed like we are, but
Yeah.
I couldn't, I was really shocked at a majority of people that were like, okay, I get it. It's going up to 19.99. It kind of sucks, but I'm here for it. It is what it is. And the product, and I thought, wow, because everybody else was kind of going all over the place. I know I was. But man, the margins suck. Like, for example, on TVC, if I buy a whole case of, like, or they compact in eights, if I buy a whole case, I get them for 15.90 FOB, and then you got to land on it. So 15, 16, paying about 16.50
For a case, each. Yeah, each.
each. Yeah,
So,
and you're selling them for 19.
and then your
So
shipping and your other
yeah,
head
yeah,
fees, just your
and
cost.
and and
Yeah.
Black Series is all over the place. Like, really, I'm paying, and again, if I meet minimums and I buy cases, I'm paying 21, 22, and then they're landing at 23, and they're expecting you to get 27. So there's
Mhm.
like $3 or $4 in there. Like, it was like, so the plan initially was, to buy, like, say, off price stuff or cheaper things, maybe at half, and then sell it on like a Whatnot, or sell it on like an eBay, and let that be the quick burn at $3, at $4, whatever it was, and then do the better price stuff. But it was just making it so, like, I couldn't even afford to sell things on eBay, after they take like 15 points or whatever, then automatically, a figure is 32, 33, just for you to net down to
Yeah.
be at your 27. And yeah, I mean, after landing, I think I'm at like 14%. It's not a margin that anyone else in the world would tolerate for a second.
It's okay. Let's repeat that again. So all that to say, basically, what Nate's getting is 14% margin on when you're after all your costs and expenses are involved, and
Yeah.
that's probably not even counting your time, right? Your
Well, it's
labor,
not.
your
No, no,
energy.
no, it's not.
Right.
I mean, I have it really drilled down because I'm a psychopath. Like, I know how much the boxes cost, but I'm also running into stuff there too, in the sense of like, you can't just ship a TVC carded figure in like, an old Amazon box,
Yeah, yeah,
like it has to be, and I'm a psychopath. Like, I want things to come to me in mint condition. I've had collectors, come back and say, oh, this got a little damage in it. Boom, I replace it in a heartbeat, man. Like, I'm not effing around with that stuff because I've been victim to where like Amazon just comes and is like, here you go, and you're like, what do you like? Did you seriously put this through a meat grinder? You know what I mean? Like, what happened? Um, so I mean, the boxes alone to ship a TVC figure anywhere from 70 to 95 cents,
sure. Yeah.
So you tack that onto it, and then like, yeah, yeah. But I'm learning, and again, I think that there's a lot of stuff that I still probably have to learn. I did some research. There are very few YouTubers out there that are actually sharing some of that information. And there was one big guy, I forget who he was, but he was like, it's the margins suck and it's a volume game.
Hmm.
But if you go through and you do the math and you're like, well, I want to be able to make at least, like, let's just say I want to make $100,000, a year doing this, like at 14%, you can reverse the math, and like the amount of volume that you would have to do to be able to do that, like it's almost not sustainable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I kind of came back, and I mean, well, I take this very seriously, and it's not like a side hustle for me. This has been this has been my 7 to 11, job for the last, couple of months.
Well, I should have asked that early on. If you're working outside as well, or if this is full time for
Well,
you.
that's starting, but this has been full time for a little bit now. I've taken a
Yeah.
little time off in between stuff to be able to kind of get this launched and going, and getting it into a safe place to where I can manage it with the small staff that I have upstairs that's doing the dishes right now if I need to be. Um, but yeah, I mean, and so I wanted to do a Star Wars only toy store, and I wanted to also, I thought, not only do I want to put together cool collections of things, like thinking that like, what would you like? What do you and I talk about? Like those things to always be like, okay, Nate's got those things. But I also wanted to work with some of our brothers and sisters in our community that are so talented and so whatever. So I wanted to be able to showcase, some of these amazing artists and talents, and you could actually come to my store, and they're doing exclusive things for my store, and just become like a hub and a community of all of us like geeks that do the same thing. And just like you're kind enough to be promoting me right now, I'm doing the same thing with somebody else. I'm paying it
Sure.
forward with other people, and I think that that's important. So we have a thing called Collectors Corner, the Creatives Corner, that's coming up, and there are some pretty amazing people doing just pieces for us, to from like well-known comic book artists to actors and painters and just things, are doing stuff for our store to support us, and then in turn we're hoping to be able to support them, and highlight some of their amazing artists. Yeah.
Let
And
me let me show the site here. This is your website, carbonitecreative.com.
yeah.
What is there anything up here right now, kind of what you're talking about?
Well, it's that portion of it is still, I have it in works. It's
All
not,
right, so you're
so
still
we're not.
developing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that portion is still coming up, and but there's some stuff that we're working on that's pretty exciting,
You
and
got
yeah.
trading cards too. You're gonna do trading cards. Interesting.
Yeah, we did a little round of them, and they kind of blew out and they went well. So those are all coming in. We're trying to figure out what our focus is, and
Yeah.
I want to get more into helmets and into the cosplay world of it for sure. But right now, like again, it's a pre-order game, and as we've learned that, like, we have all the pre-orders going all the way out. I think there's stuff that's dropped that's flowing in through August. So
Yeah.
literally, we have almost everything on order that's coming up that's worth kind of getting and talking about. But we're also, a little snobbish. We're only putting things in the store that we would want.
Right. Right.
Basically, if I don't want it in my collection, I don't buy it. And
Well,
maybe
like,
that's not the smartest business decision, but it is what it is.
we'll go back to Black Series. I mean, here's some TVC and Black Series, but you've already sold out of your pre-orders for
Yeah, I keep buying them.
Quinlan
Like
Voss.
I have to tell you one of the things that yeah, no, one of the Black Series, I was shocked at how quick people were tacking onto it. I mean, we are trying to maintain the 27 and the 29, even though like these are ridiculous. Like the last
Yeah.
wave of them, like I got hosed. I think I'm paying like 25, landed. So,
Yeah.
whatever. I realized I didn't buy enough to make minimums and stuff, but que sera. But
Well,
but
for you,
yeah,
let's
we're
pause there.
we're
So Black Series collectors, look, he's got Tonwi up here. He's got Kyle Katarn. He's got, which one's this? It's the
Scourge.
New Grievous. So yeah, if you haven't pre-ordered some of these, I'm encouraging you guys right now. Uh, Order them from Nate. Put your pre-orders in, $27.99. You're gonna pay that anywhere at Target or Walmart or whatever. Nate is doing a promo code right now. Red Wagon's
Mhm.
10% off. So
Yeah.
if you haven't ordered some of these and you want to, I encourage you to order them from Nate. I did. I just ordered. What did I
Yes,
get
thank
from
you.
you? I
Oh,
got Ennui and what's the other new Black series that are coming out?
you got oh
Um,
god. Yeah,
the
it's
Geonosis
the three
Warrior.
pack. Go into pre-orders.
Yeah. Where did I go? Catalog
No, go back home.
home.
Like I'm pointing at the screen like you
Oh
can
no,
see
you're
us
go
right.
up here. Go up here. You.
Go to Black Series. Click
Oh
that.
yeah, you
Click.
got
Yeah. Yeah.
Watto and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I
But
ordered Watto from you and Tonwi and this guy. Yeah,
yeah,
looks cool.
yeah. I mean, and that pack, the Bespin pack, which
Yes.
I'm excited about. Like I bought that really small initially because I think they came like the minimum you could buy were two. So I was like, all right,
Wait,
so I'll
do you
buy
have this
one for
available again? Oh, it's
yeah.
you
Uh-huh.
got more.
I had to. I want one, and so they keep buying. They keep selling out. Like I've already sold like I think like 15 or 20 of them. I finally just bought a case. I went to my rep and I was like, just give me the whole damn 36.
Well, I've been following you because you're like the only store I could find that still had it available, and I actually sent someone your way just
You're
last
well.
weekend.
It's really funny
So,
because I've had people just coming to me for that and being like, um, I had a really funny thing where a guy wrote me and he's like, "Are you a legit store?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I think so." But would I say that I wasn't if I wasn't? Like, I appreciate the question, but if I was gonna rob you, But anyway, the funny thing was he was just like, your prices are comparable and close to whatever. I think I had to take a couple of bucks on that because it literally was like almost apples to apples. I did just get a little bit of a discount on it because I did buy 36. I keep buying this because I want it. I
well,
want that caped fader. And I mean, I'm sorry, but I am gonna drill the crap out of mine, and I'm putting all the blinking lights and things,
nice.
on it.
Nice.
And that's just gonna. I already have like, I'm psycho. I pre-clear out sections. I'm like, this is going right here on my desk. I know exactly what's happening. You know what I mean? So
Well,
yeah, so it's
this
available.
this set is my favorite Black Series item from last year. I couldn't get the Anakin Obi-Wan, Mustafar
Yeah,
cool, but this set is amazing. I love it. And it was last weekend because I did a review of this on my YouTube channel, and
yeah,
someone left a comment, "Is this being reissued anywhere?" And I said, "Yes, but the reissues have sold out except at my friend Nate's store. Go here." And
yeah.
that was last weekend. So, and then I
Oh,
noticed he
thank you.
sold out. So,
Yes,
um,
surprisingly enough, I had to buy a few more, so thank you for that.
now you've got it marked at 89.99. That's to cover some of your margin you've been talking about because I think
Yeah,
originally it was at 79 with Hasbro or
yeah,
something, but
yeah, I think it was 70,
Entertainment
79.
is sold out. Big Bad is sold out. You've still
Yeah,
got it. So I think
yeah,
I would expect you're going to sell through these because this is a great set and it's hard to find right now.
yeah, it's I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I also actually one of the first Black Series I got was the reissue of the duel, the Vader duel from Kenobi, where he had the mask,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that
The
yeah,
slash.
duel's
Yeah,
end, duel's
yeah.
end. And I missed that, like before I could even before I realized that that was out and about, it was already $100 or something on
Yeah,
eBay, so I never got it. And they just did a re-release of that, and I went crazy. I bought like 4 cases of it, and that's
it's a
another
great
one that
figure.
people are
Yeah,
are kind of going crazy over because we missed it. And that Scorch that you saw on there too, like even if you eBay that now, and I collected I got a few of those guys, but I went for the customs
yeah.
versions of them because it just the balance of them felt right. So I didn't realize that this one was a hard one to get. And if you like even search him now on eBay, I think he's like
Yeah.
$86 or something silly. But
So I will just make the plea again to my audience and Nate's audience that uh, this is a good place to be. Yes, he's a legit store. So
I'm a little
like Nate,
crazy, but I'm legit. Thank you,
support
David.
the little guys, support the true Star Wars fans, support the little guys, and I think, yeah, you're just starting out. I think this is a good start. So
I
that's
think so. We're going small and steady, and again, we've been so fortunate. Like I gotta tell you, like the photographer, like everyone that we've been talking to for the last like 5 years on Instagram and stuff really kind of stepped up and supported. And we have the shop, but we also, I've sold a lot of stuff on. We have an Instagram store now too. So if you go through my feed and you like something, you just click it and just buy it right there. And
okay.
so that, just I don't know, just people.
And you're doing whatnot. I've seen you do some whatnot.
Yeah, I did some
So,
whatnots. I started doing whatnot non-Star Wars stuff, and I didn't want to incorporate that and to kind of dilute the brand. I really want people to know that we're like legit hardcore Star Wars only.
yeah,
And I made the mistake at the very beginning, not a mistake, but we all learn things like like Wicked had just dropped, and it was really funny because my rep was like, hey, this is fire, you gotta get this. And I was like, it is, like, I don't know, like, okay. But I knew that the movies and stuff were doing good. I'm like, all right, well, I'll buy a little, I'll try it, let's just see. We're opening up a toy store, and of course, like, I'm opening up a Star Wars toy store, and what comes first? Wicked Pops. That's it. And I'm like, that's all I have in my store is these Wicked Pops. And I couldn't for the life of me get rid of those things. And finally I just did like a whatnot closeout.
yeah.
And and then I threw some other things on. I was like, oh, okay. And I think I like wiped through like 3 boxes of inventory at like one shot. We've only done it for a little while, but and then I'll have, every once in a while, I'll close out some of the stuff that we have here. I haven't, I was thinking about wanting to do auctions that were just straight up because, Whatnot is known for a little bit of like everybody wants everything for a buck, but nobody makes any money at a buck. So I'm not doing that shit, but, I wanted to maybe try to do, we'll see how this works out for me, like a real collector Whatnot. Like, okay, like, you guys know I'm paying $15 for this. I'll do 16 for a carded figure. Let's see if,
Yeah.
to be able to get those connections and stuff. Every once in a while, if I have to move something to free up some cash, I might do that. But I haven't really had to do that so much. I'm doing it just to test out the business model. I mean, again, people have just come through and just been amazing. Somebody um on Instagram, I posted like the new Funko Pops, the new retro Funko Pops that are kind of like their own line. It's like an animated style
Oh yeah, I
line that,
saw those. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
that we love. And some dude on Instagram was like, "Is this Nate?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden, like, he bought 4 full sets of it. Like,
Awesome. Yeah.
thank you. I mean, it's just so I can't complain. It's just been fantastic.
Oh, we got a question here.
Mm.
What is whatnot exactly?
Ah.
Is it like live eBay? How would you describe it?
Well, so it's an online marketplace. It is kind of like eBay. They're trying to disrupt that marketplace, and very well deserved. eBay is at a point right now where I think they take like 15 points, and then there's other stuff. Like it's just ridiculous. Like it's robbery. And whatnot is a live selling auction. I think they take like 9% or something. But you can it is kind of crazy because you can go on and it's really, you can buy anything there, clothes, but there's a lot of collectors. Like if you just do Black Series, like shows will come up, and you can just sit there and you sit on your phone and you're like, yes, 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 and you bid for stuff here and there. And
Yeah,
uh
my understanding, I've only played with it a little bit, but it's kind of like rapid, not a lot of
Yeah.
production, and just this is selling one item after the next, after the next, after the next on a little turntable, and it's
Yep.
really phone based. It's an app on your phone is really how it's meant to work. So
Yeah.
seems to keep
And there's
growing
also
popular.
like, if you come to our site, we and this isn't like a paid promotion thing. This is something that everyone on Whatnot gets, all sellers. But they have the ability to give new buyers $15. So like, and they're really trying to get people on that platform. But it's a real thing. Like I was like, I tried it out like under my own personal account. Somebody sent me it, and I got something, like I bought a Funko Pop, and I was like, wait a minute, did I just get this for free? Like it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So you can come and like, I don't get any cash for doing it, but you get to go on the site, and you don't have to spend it with me. You can spend it with anybody. But if you're new to the app, you can sign up and make an account with us, and you get 15 free dollars. It's pretty fantastic.
All right, new topic for you.
Yeah.
Embargoes. What can you
Ooh.
tell us about embargoes, about upcoming product that you can't, like, how do those work? What do they look
Oh.
like? How do they
Oh
enforce them?
gosh. Wait.
Are you even
Okay.
allowed to say the word embargo? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. So I love this. This is like my favorite thing
Yeah.
about being
Yeah.
okay. So, and I didn't know, I would have ran for it a lot faster had I known. I mean, I should have known. Anyway, an embargoed product is basically a product that either Hasbro or Funko or whatever. It's basically, like you see people are like, this is just what dropped. This is dropped, blah, blah, blah. By the time that's dropped, that product most likely was under embargo for about 6 months prior to that. And people that have a wholesale license that have a good standing account get to know what those things are. And so um and your reps call you up, and sometimes they can show you pictures of it. Most of the time they can't. And they say, like my rep knows I'm a Star Wars dude, so he calls me up. He's like, Nate, this is what's going on. There's this movie, I can't talk to you really about it. And I was like, well, does the movie have a little green dude in it? He's like,
Right.
yeah. And I'm like, all right, okay, I get it. And he's like, it's a case of 6. Okay, great. So anyway, you're not supposed to talk about it. It's a big problem if post it, that you post an image of it. I think that's
Sure.
also why they don't release the images, but 95% of the time they leak, and I'm always going back to them and like, dude, this just leaked. Open up the embargo, because that means that people are talking about it. Now I'm missing out on an opportunity to actually sell it. Like that just
Yeah.
happened really with those Funko Pops that we were just talking about, the retro. And there's we're getting our first Star Wars Nook, which the Funko
Okay.
nerds are excited about, and as am I. And it's basically like a little book Nook that sits in between your collection, and it's Yoda and his little hat, whatever.
I
And that
saw, I
was
saw, I saw you post that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Someone.
and that was under embargo for quite some time. And
Okay.
so, like for example, I have things that I've already bought all the way out to August, and um I know some of the characters and things that are in Grogu that no one's talking about. There are 2 characters that they're not saying anything about it. They're like, you're buying a pack of 6 figures, and there's 2 that you're just gonna take. And I'm like, okay, cool, like whatever. But I
Sure.
do know like some of the other things. But again, it's so cheesy. Like, yeah, I can't talk to you about, but it's a droid, and it's like, okay, I get it. Um, but what was interesting enough was my rep was like, you won't believe how many people, like, they won't buy things unless they can see it. And I'm a Star Wars nerd, so I know what he's talking about, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So I bought stuff all the way out to August that I can't even talk about, and I love it.
You got
Um,
product coming in from the Mando and Grogu movie. I can say that name because
yeah.
I'm not a I'm not in business. So that's cool. So I was wondering on the time frame. So you spent
Uh,
about 6 months.
so so
That
this
movie
so
comes out in May. So you started hearing about product like last
Oh,
November?
well,
Or,
yeah. So November was when those product embargoes kicked off, actually.
okay.
So I hit it perfect timing. Um the first drop that I picked up. Now this is interesting in regards, I'm starting to learn this a little bit about timing. Um like for example, the TVC Mall action
Yeah.
figure
The
for
shadow
shadow for
Lord.
shadows
Yeah.
that's coming up. Yeah. So initially, like for example, that I had bought in November. There was still an embargo. I think the embargo lifted a couple of months at this point, but that was supposed to have shipped in March, and that just recently just shipped like last week. It's here, it's in the
Yeah.
house, and they opened that up. I guess with timing, they're like, okay, like I'm glad that they're doing the marketing and they're running with that a little bit more and better. But I mean, from a cash plan point of view, it's not great because now I'm paying for something that I haven't sold yet because I just was under embargo and now it's sitting here and but you guys aren't shipping the things that I did sell. It's that kind of stuff. But anyway, but with the embargoes, like for example, the Mando Grogu stuff, I can speak for now he didn't do that for Black Series, unfortunately. For Funko I got fully loaded up and they're shipping in March, which leads me to believe like that's also like kind of the mystery fun thing too. It's like, okay, then by March, if you're going to allow me to show these figures, then we're getting some severe trailers that are going to be revealing some severe stuff by March, or else
I
you're really letting the cat out of the bag.
Yeah. So the characters, the mystery characters in the Funko waves are likely to be made by Hasbro for Black Series and TVC. It's just they're holding those close to the chest right now, whereas Funko is showing some of
Yes.
that. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. 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 Right.
That's cool. No, yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't, yeah. This all reminds me of Nerdzoic when he got in trouble with Hasbro because he read off his list of figures. This was like 3 years ago now. Remember, he had a bunch of Black Series like reissues, and
Oh.
he had his story was that he thought it was fine to list it because his distributor or whoever told him this was coming, and then he got a big slap down because
Oh.
I don't know
Yeah. They'll
that story, but
yeah, they'll pull
yeah,
your account.
yeah. So
Um yeah. I mean it was interesting. Yeah, interesting enough. They'll pull your account.
that was one of my other questions. Have you talked to other toy sellers in the collecting community to get tips and advice on
Well,
doing a
I mean,
store?
not okay. No, not
I mean, do
really.
you not really need that
There
because of
has
your
there
background?
hasn't been. Well, first of all, it went so fast, and I had to just figure it out and kind of learn. Like setting up the styles and da 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 da, and
Yeah,
buying the shipping materials, and so there hasn't been a lot of time because I literally am a team of just me. Um, and I have started recently reaching out to people because like one of the big pieces that I wanted and that I can't figure out the math of is the Amazon portion of it, because what ideally it would be great to be able to scale and to sell on Amazon and to be one of those things that comes up or whatever. But like for example, just to even say that you're selling at Amazon, they take $3.50. And I can't even imagine how that works. So like I bought something online. I bought something on Amazon that just arrived, and the seller was like, I'm a small toy account. Please don't leave me negative feedback. If you have a problem, please just text my number. And I was like, of course I left him a stellar review, but I texted him. I was like, homie, we're the same. Can we have a conversation? Can you help me? I have some questions about Amazon, how to scale it. Like, so I'm starting to do that stuff. It's finding the people really to do it.
yeah, yeah. Here, I'm gonna let you give hand signals and facial expressions to this comment. A man
Oh,
a man
what?
is one of the new figures. A man. Remember, because he showed up in the trailer for Mando and Grogu, the alien. Do you remember the alien from Jabba's palace? The big guy with this big
Which
lizard-looking
one?
guy.
The
From
big one with like the staff that was
Yeah, the
standing in.
staff of the skulls. Yeah,
Yeah.
in part of the
Well,
trailer, there's one of those aliens shows up in the water. So
that
we're
that could be it. I mean, let's see. What can I say? I mean, I really can't. What
we
can I
can't. I
say?
don't think you in trouble. This is
No,
still
no, 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 but there is and I can say this as a fan. We've all seen the trailer. So when Mando when the new when the new when the new Razor Crest is going through through
yeah.
the clouds. What do you think's following him?
I don't know. I'm not sure what's following him. Some kind of Tie Fighter maybe or something. I don't know. What's
I personally think it is a vulture droid.
really a
Yeah,
vulture droid.
and I personally feel that possibly people in this series or in the show are going to be reactivating droids,
It's an interesting thought.
and they're going to be in the mix, in addition to remnants, stormtroopers. And I think that someone's trying to get their hands, whether it's a crime syndicate or something, is trying to get their hands
Ah,
on these and reactivate battle droids and things of that nature.
we could use some more Crime Syndicate figures in these lines. That would be nice.
Hmm.
Like yeah, some
It,
Crimson Dawn, some who
yeah,
else? It's the Pikes, the
yeah.
Huts.
If there was one, I'm curious, from like, if there was one figure, David, that you could get like right now, what would it be?
For are we talking for Black Series?
Yeah,
Oh man, I made my list till a while ago, but I love everything Jabba's Palace or Cantina, so I'm always down for a cool alien. That's what I'm
yeah.
for. So
Mm,
I don't know. It'd be hard to say,
mm,
but yeah, we'll
got
leave
you,
that there.
got you.
It's good. It's gonna be fun to see what comes out in the next few
Yeah,
months.
I mean, I'm excited for it. I know that that's a split, whatever. I mean, I'm also super excited about the Ahsoka stuff coming out too, and I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that's a split bag, but yeah.
cool. Any comments out there in Streamland? I'm just curious if people watching. If you guys are watching this after the fact, leave us some comments below. Nate and I can respond to you. And please do ask more questions about the toy store business part of things too, because maybe
Yeah.
we can follow up on this later.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I would love to do another one. Like I've constant, like I've just started off doing like little toy vlogs, honestly, where I'm like opening up my inventory, and for me, that's Christmas, really, for me, when I'm like, you know,
I've watched several of your videos. You're having a good time.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, I haven't really, I didn't want to start getting too much into the like the math of it and stuff, because I do need to make sure that I can keep my relationships with whatever, you know what I mean? Because like, I didn't want to be like, and look at Hasbro's site, it's bullshit. I didn't
yeah,
want
yeah, yeah,
to-
yeah.
but so yeah, I mean, this is also something like I wish I had a resource to go to, and that somebody was telling me like, oh, you know, um, uh, you know, buy cases and combine them with this to maximize your shipping. Like that's all something I've totally learned. Like now my warehouse knows to call me, and they're like, Nate, we only have like 15 things. I'm like, great, add this to it, add this to it, add this to it, so at least can like amortize in and balance stuff out.
Yeah, kind of get more
You know,
efficiency there. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. And then also Kentucky, Alliance Entertainment is really a game changer, because being in Kentucky, like like for example, if I bought a small case of Funko Pops and I paid $50 for shipping, I would probably pay about $15 from them. So it's a game changer in that sense.
yeah. Uh, Cassidy here
Oh,
thinks likes your comment about the Vulture Droid. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that thank you. I think that we're gonna. I was shocked. Like when I saw that, I was like, why aren't people freaking out about this yet?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I think that I think it's gonna be some shit.
And this is my friend Pat. He says he's hoping they make Pelimoto. Pelimoto for and the frog lady.
Oh,
The
you know what?
frog
That's
lady.
funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. They did it. I had a Pelimoto custom made. Oh, well, I tried to custom make one. I actually bought the head. Gosh, who's the guy that we were buying the resin heads from? Do you remember? He was fantastic.
Um,
And he's like a master sculptor. And
well, Outer Rim Traders was one that I
yeah,
bought a
yeah.
lot from. Uh,
I think it might have been Outer Rim that had a Pelimoto, and
so Scoundrel Stock, is that the other one? Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe, and I bought his resin head, and at that point I was like high in my game. I'm making my own droids, like I got, and then I'm watching the videos, and I'm like, wait a minute, like doing flesh tones a little bit different. Like if I tell you what a train wreck this thing looked like, I'm like, this is Night of the Living Dead. This isn't Pelimoto. But
Yeah.
to the point was, that's right. We don't have a Pelimoto figure, and I know a lot of people don't like her, so maybe that was a snide comment. But I would actually really buy that figure.
I was one of those that I wasn't really interested in her, but she did seem to have staying power. She kept showing up in the series all over the place. And it's like,
Well,
well,
I mean, but so okay, so I'm guessing you're not strangers with Candy Fan because she has a
No,
whole
not really. Yeah.
she has a whole thing. But I mean that all dates back to Elf. That's how she got that. You know
Is that
that, right?
okay? All right.
Yeah, she was Amy Sedaris was in Elf, and that was John Favreau's like first
Yeah,
big movie,
I
and they're
remember her. Yeah.
besties. And then here's John Favreau, and blah blah blah, and now yeah,
Okay. All right. It makes sense.
yeah,
I didn't really connect those dots before. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, interesting.
The more you know.
The more you know. Well, we need to wrap this up here
Yeah,
soon. I want to talk about one other topic. I want to talk about
yeah.
Star Wars Celebration. Star Wars Celebration
Ooh,
2027, right? That's
man.
years of Star Wars anniversary.
Yep.
We'll put this here on the end of the episode, guys. I want to go. What do you think, Nate? You
Dude,
want
I'm in. I want to go. I've never been to one, and it's in LA. It's my hometown, so I have family and friends there. And then my buddy Poptography Patrick is wanting to go too, and so
can I
yeah.
hitchhike? Can I like
Yeah,
bring a
absolutely.
suitcase and
Yeah,
come
and then
along?
I hope, I'm just gonna put it out there that I might be working with somebody who has a big connection with it, so it might make it a little bit more fun. So
All
we'll
right.
we'll see. Good
Yeah.
good things there. But yeah, absolutely. And which I'm actually starting to figure out. Like I'm gonna rock some armor. So I'm gonna.
I heard you say that in one of your videos. Yeah, you're gonna get
Yeah,
Carbonite,
no,
right?
I'm gonna try to 3D print it. I'm gonna try to, it could be a disaster. We'll see. I might just, be in like hot pants and a clone trooper helmet. I don't know what's happening, but we'll figure it out.
I think that'd be pretty fun. And yeah,
But
good for you.
yeah, how fun would it be if you came? I'm stoked.
I've never been either, just people watching. I have never been to a celebration. So I don't know anything about it. I love to talk to people who actually have been and what it's like. What's the daily routine like at a celebration? Is it just like panels? Is there other? I mean, I don't even know. So I gotta figure out what's going on and what to expect and what to plan for. But I would love to be there for it for sure.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, yeah. I mean, I know people that went to like Japan for it, which
Yeah, it's crazy.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see. I gotta up my influencer game between now and then so I can get some perks or something. I'll get
yeah, for sure, right? I know. Holler at your boy.
yeah, yeah. Pat wanted you haven't been so you went to Chicago. Well, all right. So I got to talk to Pat then a little bit what it's like because
Yeah, I'm
I'm pretty
curious
new
too.
to the
I mean,
conventions and all that stuff.
I've seen the whole like cantina run and stuff a little bit here and there, but
Yeah.
and I know like I mean those panels. I mean, I want to just like meet people too.
What was it? Was it the one? Was it in California not too long ago? When was it? Just a couple years ago. Who
uh,
was that celebration or was that something else where they had all the Mandalorian props and everything, like the full bantha and the
oh,
that stuff laid out?
I'm not sure what that was.
That was
Could have
Anaheim.
been a con, maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it would just be awesome. I'd love to. I'm hoping I get to be there. So
Well,
gotta
let's do it.
figure-
Let's make it a reality.
let's manifest it to
I'm
the
here
force.
for it.
May the
Yep.
force bring us to California in 2027.
Yes.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
let's wrap it up there. I'm gonna plug your store one more time. There's a
Thank
10%
you.
off code that Nate has provided. Use Red Wagon, 10% off anything at carbonitecreative.com.
And we're
Nate,
also offering free shipping on $65 over
yes.
too. So that is a big
Well,
plus.
for me, buying the 3 Black Series figures pre-ordered with the 10% off, I mean, that was a good deal for me, honestly, buying it from you. So,
Cool.
um,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yay.
appreciate that. And I hope that other people will check you out. Mention all your other socials too. What are you,
Oh
Instagram?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Carbonite Creative YouTube, Carbonite Creative Instagram, Carbonite Creative Facebook uh for all us grandpas and yeah, and those are kind of like our main hubs. I mean, we are on Twitter and all that stuff, but everything just Carbonite Creative. We're on almost every social.
And you have another YouTube show you're doing with the with
Yeah, actually, yeah, we're doing
uh,
it's a Star Wars only Funko Pop geared show. It's called Star Wars Pop Talk, and it's with my buddy Patrick, and he is also really a great guy. We're checking out, and he is a toy photographer shooting Funko Pops, and it was really funny because we were having a conversation we were doing a live stream, and he was like, "Dude, I've been following you since your Black Series days." And I was like, "Oh, cool, really?" And then he's like, "And then one day you shot something of a Funko Pop," and I was like, "Oh, Nate's doing Funko Pop," and I just thought it was so funny to, I mean, because like I did have some people on my feed that were like out,
Yeah, yeah.
not doing it, which is fine, I get it, but anyway, back to it is that he's an amazing photographer and shooting Funko Pops, and so we've and he's a seasoned podcaster, and so we jump on. We thought that there was a space missing about just Star Wars straight Funkos and rumors and all those sorts of things, and so yeah, I think we're like 3 or 4 episodes in now, and it's fun. It's worth watching live stream every other Tuesday.
All right, cool. Push. So Star Wars Pop Top guys, find him there. And I don't have anything else to say. Thank you very much. It was fun.
Well, thank you for having us. We should do it again. It's just
Yeah.
fun. I love to catch up and do more interesting Black Series stuff. And yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot to talk about.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's give them a May the Force be with you. And we'll
May,
sign off. 3,
may,
2, 1. May
may
the
the
Force
force be with
be with
you.
you. All right, guys. Catch you on the next one.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
weekend.
All right. And we are gone.